called negative drawing. If you have ever wanted to create striking images with dramatic contrast, this tutorial is for you. Negative drawing is all about working with light instead of dark, building your artwork from the shadows out to the light, rather than the other way around. In this video, we will be creating two different drawings to explore this technique together. We will start with a burning candle to understand the basics, and then we will move on to a drawing of a candle that's just been extinguished with wisps of smoke rising into the air. Don't worry if you're new to this, it's going to be a fun journey and I will guide you every step of the way. So grab your black cardstock and let's get started. Before we jump into our first drawing, let's quickly talk about what negative drawing is. In traditional drawing, we typically add darker values on the lighter paper to create depth and form, but with negative drawing, we do the opposite. We start with a dark surface, like this black cardstock, and gradually build up the lighter areas using white chalk or charcoal pencils. The key here is to focus on the shapes and patterns created by the lightest parts of the subject. Think of it like carving light out of darkness. Where the light hits, that's where we will be drawing. For today's lesson, we will be using black cardstock as our drawing surface, which will help create a beautiful contrast. We will also need a white chalk and/or a white charcoal pencil. These two tools will give us different textures and intensities of white. I also have a few blending tools like a paintbrush and a blending stump for softening edges and creating smooth transitions. Finally, we will use a kneadable eraser and an eraser pencil to bring back some of the darker values and refine our details. Now, a quick note on these two pencils. The white chalk pencil is great for softer, more subtle highlights, while the white charcoal pencil is perfect for those crisp, bright details. We will be using both to create depth and dimension in our drawings. Let's start with our first drawing, a burning candle. Let's first place masking tapes to sides of your paper. Begin by lightly sketching the basic shape of the candle with your white chalk pencil. Don't worry about making it too detailed at this stage, we are just mapping out the main forms. Imagine where the light would be hitting the candle. The brightest areas will be around the flame and the upper rim of the candle. Start by adding light strokes to indicate these highlights. Remember, in negative drawing we are focusing on the lightest highlights. So, think about where the light from the flame would shine the brightest and begin building those areas up with light strokes. Don't press too hard, we will gradually increase the brightness. You can blend the lines with a brush at this point. You may want to use some kind of eraser to take away the excess white from the wick, and I use a kneaded eraser here to do that. Now, let's focus on the flame itself. Use your white chalk pencil to create a bright, intense point where the flame is the hottest, right above the wick. Then lightly extend the flame upwards using the blending brush to give it a softer, more diffused look. You can keep the outline crisp with a kneaded eraser. To get rid of the excess chalk powder, you can use bigger makeup brush or paintbrush. You may want to add more light to the flame, and you can definitely do that. By adding a new layer of white chalk, we can increase the highlight in that spot. Use the blending stump or your finger to gently blend the edges of the light areas. This will create a smooth transition and make the flame look like it's softly glowing. If you feel like you have added too much white, don't worry. This is where the kneaded eraser comes in handy. Lightly dab or roll it over areas where you want to darken the values again or soften the light. You can always go back and forth until you're happy with the effect. Remember, negative drawing is all about subtlety and layering. Take your time with this step. Then with white charcoal pencil, we can add brighter white to the flame and to the upper rim of the candle. This contrast between the two pencils will create a realistic glow. I first add layer of white and blending that in with the brush. Then with an eraser pencil I keep the outlines of the flame crisp. I add interesting details to the rim by gently dabbing the kneaded eraser on the paper and then add details with white chalk pencil. Then if you want to add halo effect around your flame, you can do it by just blending the white values from the flame to the paper. If you do this, you may want to add a new layer of white to keep the flame bright white. You can optionally use black charcoal to deepen the shadows and blackest blacks. The goal is to make the candle look three-dimensional and realistic. Then a quick tip. If you feel like the paper doesn't take any more white, spray a very thin coat of hairspray or fixative spray, and after that's dried you can add more white again. Notice how the light interacts with the rim. There will be subtle highlights along the edges. Use the chalk pencil for these finer details. Great job with the burning candle! Now let's move on to something a bit more challenging but equally fun. Drawing smoke coming from an extinguished candle. Smoke can be tricky because it's so delicate and wispy, but it's perfect for negative drawing because we will be focusing on those soft, light shapes. First, with a white chalk pencil, draw the top of the candle again and add values to the rim. You can blend this with the same blending brush that you used before. This time, focus on the glowing wick where the flame has just been put out. Use your chalk pencil to create a small, bright spot at the tip of the wick. This is the remaining glow after the flame has gone out. You can add details with a white charcoal pencil at this point and blend them in with a brush. I like to keep the outline crisp during the drawing process, but you can do what feels best. Now, let's draw the smoke. Think about how smoke moves. It's light, airy, and constantly changing. Use your charcoal pencil to create bright white swirling lines to represent the smoke rising. Keep your hand loose and fluid, allowing the lines to flow naturally. The lines don't have to be perfect. In fact, the more erratic they are, the more realistic the smoke will look. Use the paintbrush to gently blend these lines from the inside, softening them into the black background. This will create the illusion of smoke dispersing into the air. Remember, we are not trying to create solid lines, but rather the suggestion of smoke, so keep it light and airy. The shape or remove any excess white, use your kneadable eraser. Just like before, gently dab or roll it over the areas you want to soften. You can also use the eraser pencil to add tiny details, like the details on the glowing ember or small twists in the smoke. See how the smoke appears to rise gently and then disappear into the air. That's the magic of negative drawing, capturing the light, delicate elements of a scene. Keep layering and blending until you're happy with the look. Alright, we are almost done. Now take a moment to look at your drawing from a distance. And this helps you see the overall composition and balance. Make any final adjustments like adding a bit more light to the smoke or refining the edges of the candle. Remember, negative drawing takes practice and patience, especially when working with such subtle values and details. But the result can be quite rewarding. It's all about capturing the light and letting it bring your subject to life. Yay! We are finally ready to fix this drawing also and take the masking tapes off. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this tutorial has inspired you to try negative drawing yourself. It's a fantastic technique to explore and really pushes you to think differently about light and shadow. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and share it with anyone who might find it helpful. And I would love to see your negative drawings. Share them on Instagram with the hashtag #drawingwithjenny. Remember, art is about experimentation and enjoying the process, so don't be afraid to make inspired. I will see you in the next video soon. Bye bye!